Welcome back. This is our 7th lesson on creating the gear housing. In this lesson, we'll create the cooling ribs for the back housing. Let's start by inserting a sketch on the XZ plane. Right-click, New Sketch. Okay, let me reorient my model. And let's just zoom in a little bit so we can better see what to do. Activate the Project Geometry command. Let's activate the Line command. And here's our second point. And close. Okay, let's apply some dimensions now. Here we've got 3 millimeters. Okay. The distance between these 2 points, I'll make 4 millimeters. Okay. And for the height, 30 millimeters. Okay. The distance between these 2 points, 5 millimeters. Okay. Next, we need to create a center line. Let's go to wireframe mode. Activate the Line tool. Center line. Let's snap the first point to the origin point. And escape to close the tool. Let's apply constraints now. Vertical relation. Escape to exit. Lastly, let's convert this line to construction geometry and finish the sketch. Activate the Revolve command. Inventor automatically recognized the geometry. Let's accept. And right-click on this face, New Sketch. Now I'm going to be creating some cosmetic cuts. Let's activate the 3-point arc tool. Second point. And third point. And let's apply some constraints. Now some dimensions. The radius here, I'll make 70 millimeters. Okay. The distance between these 2 points, 110 millimeters. Okay. Let's create another arc. We'll snap to this point. And third point here. Activate the Line command now. And I'll create a vertical line here. Press Escape to exit the tool. Now I'm going to use the Mirror command. Let's select the geometry to mirror. Then the mirror line. Apply, and done. Let's convert this geometry to construction geometry, and since our sketch is fully constrained, we can finish the sketch and activate the Extrude command. Let's select the profiles to extrude. Use the cut mode. 10 millimeter cut is fine. Let's click OK. Let's apply some fillets now. It'll be a 1 millimeter radius fillet. I'll use loop mode. And I'll just press down the Shift key on the keyboard and my middle mouse button or mouse wheel to rotate the model. Let's select a second loop and click OK. Now I'm going to activate the Linear Pattern command. Features to Pattern is pre-selected. Let's select Revolution 2, Extrusion 14, and Fillet 2. Now the direction to pattern, I'll select this edge. Let's reverse the direction. Number of instances, 4. For the distance, let's leave it at 10 millimeters and click OK. Let me just take a minute to mention a few things here. The geometry I'm working with here is pretty simple, but if you've got a number of instances on a feature which has complicated geometry, then your rebuild time can be pretty significant. There's a few workarounds for this. Of course, you can up your processing power on your computer. However, you can also shorten the rebuild time by suppressing some features, for example, Revolution 2. Just right-click and suppress feature. Now notice the extrusion, the fillet, and the rectangular pattern are also suppressed. That's because they're the children of that revolution. In other words, extrusion 14, rectangular pattern number 1, and fillet 2 are all based on or dependent on revolution 2. Let's unsuppress the rectangular pattern. We'll just right-click on the node in the model browser, unsuppress features. Now, since the rectangular pattern is a child feature of the above features, they also become unsuppressed, even though I didn't individually unsuppress the above features. You just need to be careful that later on, during construction, you don't use edges that don't exist anymore. If you have to have the linear pattern, you can suppress the cosmetic features like fillet 2 and extrusion 14. That'll improve the rebuild time. Let's right-click on fillet 2 and select suppress features. And let's do the same for extrusion 14. Right-click, suppress features. So we've finished the cooling ribs for the back housing, and we've just got a few more things to do. Don't forget to save your work. This concludes our 7th tutorial on creating the gear housing.